Oh no. What? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to AfterPrisonShow, and today I want to tell you a story. It's not a prison-related story. This is a story that pertains to business, it pertains to OfferUp, it pertains to lessons learned. Lessons that I've been learning myself. And though this isn't a prison-related story or deal with prison in any way, I do feel like this ties into AfterPrisonShow because after prison, people are trying to succeed. And one way that I think people try to succeed, one of the biggest ways, is by venturing out on their own, trying to start their own business, and trying to be their own boss. Don't nobody want to be working for nobody else for no $8.50, $9, maybe even $10 an hour. And if you rock with After Prison Show, you already know that we've had a bunch of business ventures that we've tried. Some have worked, some have failed. And we've got these new ones that we're working with right now, one of them being landscape work and the other being get gone, moving and hauling. And it seems like between the two, we're having a fair amount of work with the both of these, especially just starting these out. But it's the story that I want to share with you that takes place just yesterday after we concluded and wrapped up our very first major moving gig. And one thing that I want to share with you that I've learned from doing moving work is that, if this is the type of work that you try to do, one, it's going to be very difficult. You're going to work really hard. You may not make the best money doing this. Hopefully, you're going to get in with somebody like me, where I paid my workers $13 an hour. I thought that was a pretty fair and also the most that I could afford to pay people type of a wage. But one thing that you'll realize when you're doing moving work is that when you're moving things for people, there will oftentimes be things that they don't want. And they want you to take away, things that they'll give to you to keep or things that they'll want you to just trash. They don't care what you do with them. And when we wrapped up this very first moving job that we did, we ended up with a couple of really cool things. We ended up with these end tables right here. I mean, check these out. These go on either side of a bed. They've got lights underneath them. They've got nice felt drawers. And they've also got USB ports. And if we decided to try to sell these two end tables, they probably fetch at least $60 on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace. That's at the very least. They might even fetch more than that. And we also got this other item right here. Check out this glass top table and 4 chairs. This is a very nice table and chair set. The chairs had some stains on them. After we unloaded these from the truck, we attempted to clean up the chairs. Didn't put a lot of work into it, but we would end up posting both of these items on OfferUp, the end tables and this glass top table and chairs. And it was this glass top table and chairs that I had only listed up there for $50. I figured because of the stains in the chair, we weren't gonna make a lot of money from this item. And also, we don't have any room to be storing things. We've got couches, we've got dressers, we've got these 2 end tables, we got the glass top table now, we've got the zero turn, we've got a lot of stuff in the garage. We've got no room for anything. And my game plan was to attempt to try to get rid of these items as quickly as we could, and knowing the best way to go about that would be to list them at a reasonable price. I know some of you might be looking at the table and chairs thinking $50, Joe, you probably could have got a lot more than that. And trust me, when you hear this story, you're gonna find out that you're absolutely right. But these last 72 hours here on After Prison Show have been absolutely grueling. We spent 13 straight hours doing the moving job, busting our asses. I worked just as hard as my 3 guys that I had working with me, and we all worked incredibly hard as a team together. Jellicoe, Rabbit, this new guy Mike, and also myself. And it was yesterday after wrapping up this moving gig where we were so proud to have gotten this job done, only breaking one item. I'm not gonna tell you who broke that item, but you know who you are. And that one little item that got broken could have cost us a lot. Thankfully though, it wouldn't. But once we wrapped up the moving gig yesterday, I was anticipating that the rest of the day would just be okay. We got done with the moving job at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, starting it for the second day at 12 o'clock noon. It was only about 3 hours of work we had to put in on that final day. But there were some other things that would need to get done yesterday as well. One thing would be after Corso, an individual who we haven't seen that much of lately because he's been working so much, I had to go meet with Corso after he got off of work because he was going to be purchasing Jew-Man's moped, or the moped that Jew-Man was renting to own. But ever since the accident, Jew-Man and I both agreed that it would be better if he wasn't on a moped, and I would actually refund Jew-Man all of the money that he had put into the moped thus far, which I think was like $250. 4:30 in the afternoon would roll around yesterday and Corso would call me, telling me that he had just gotten home from work. Now prior, just the day before, Corso was blowing my phone up. He had already given me a $250 deposit for the moped, and it was just yesterday when Corso was trying to get in contact with me to pay me the remainder of the money so that he could get the moped and have transportation to work. The problem with that though was we were working 10 working grueling hours on this moving gig, so I basically had to keep putting off Corso, which I'm sure to him felt like I was blowing him off or probably taking his money and attempting to run with it. Thankfully, he wouldn't end up thinking that, and he would understand that we were just busy and working. So when 4:30 would roll around, Corso would call me telling me he got off of work, and I would have the moped already loaded up in the back of my truck and then take the moped over to him. As I'm riding down the street, 2 Corsos, I've got the title, I've got the helmet, I've got everything he's gonna need for the moped, and I'm thinking to myself, I hope I didn't forget anything. I know I didn't forget anything. Joe, you ain't forgetting that. You got everything that you need for this moped transaction to go off without a hitch. I get to Corso's house and I realize that I forgot the keys at my house. I forgot the keys. This is the second time in relation to the moped that I've taken a moped to deliver one and have left the damn keys at the house. And I will not even be mad if you say, Joe, you're dumb. You are dumb. Because that's exactly how I felt when I got to Corso's yesterday. Corso and I would get the moped unloaded from the truck. Corso was happy to see me. He was happy to see the moped as well, but I would have to tell him I forgot the keys. I would have to run back to my house, grab the keys, and as I'm telling this to him, he's telling me, hey Joe, I hope you got a little bit of time to give me a crash course in how to use and operate this moped. As I was heading back to my house, which was about 7 minutes away from where Corso lives, an individual would begin to hit me up about the table and chairs, the glass top table and chairs that we had listed on OfferUp for $50. Now, I had already been in a little bit of communication with this guy. He had offered up $40 instead of $50. And not wanting to do any type of haggling, I just agreed to the $40 and said, yep, you can come and get this. He would also go on to tell me that he was driving a Honda CR-V SUV. And folks, if you aren't familiar with what this vehicle is, it's not much bigger than a Honda Civic hatchback. It might as well be a car. It's not much of an SUV. It is an SUV, but it doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of room in it. One thing to keep in mind if you're ever going to be buying things or selling things on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace or anywhere else, Craigslist, when you got things for sale, you really need to ask the person who's trying to buy that if they've got a vehicle big enough to handle whatever it is that they're trying to purchase. We're selling a dresser that's still in the box, a brand new 5-drawer dresser. It's this tall, it's this wide. I've had a woman asking me if she could fit that in the back seat of a car. You cannot. You'll need a truck. This individual's name was Vinny, who was hitting me up about this $40 glass top table and chairs, probably worth so much more money than just a simple $40. As I was en route back to my house, 7 minutes away to pick up the keys for the moped for Corso, Vinny would hit me up telling me that he is 20 minutes away. Now, another thing to keep in mind if you're going to do any kind of buying and selling or bartering, or if you're doing anything like this, on OfferUp, you get rated per transaction from 1 star to 5 stars. Folks, I've got 5 stars on OfferUp. It took me a long time to get those 5 stars as well. I'll never forget the time I tried to buy an Elgato from a young kid. And for those of you who don't know what an Elgato is, it's a thing so you can record gameplay. Because at the same time that After Prison Show was starting, I thought I would become the next Ninja, even though Ninja wasn't even around then. But this transaction was very important because this kid told me he was going to meet me at the local 7-Eleven. It was pissing down rain. Joe didn't drive, didn't even have a moped at the time. I asked this kid if he could come meet me at my apartment. He said no, he was scared. I walked up to the 7-Eleven in the pissed down pouring rain and said, you see what you made me do? You made me get soaked just to come buy this thing from you. That kid gave me 1 star. It took me a long time to build up my credit karma on OfferUp and to be able to get those 5 stars back, but folks, I've got 5 stars. I only deal with individuals who have 5 stars. And if you've ever used this app, you know that those 5 stars are important. Vinny told me he was 20 minutes away. I knew I had 14 minutes just in travel time back and forth from my house to Corso. I told Vinny, no problem, I'll be there. I get back to Corso's house with the moped keys, start the moped up. We've got approximately 3 minutes for me to be able to teach Corso how to safely operate a moped. To say that this was the fastest crash course ever, that's a major understatement. I emphasized to Corso the importance of taking this so slow. Practice on back roads. Do not get out into traffic unless you feel absolutely safe with this. I told him he needs to remain all the way over on the right side of the road. I showed him everything that the moped can do, how to operate the moped, how to check the oil, how to kickstart the moped, where your blinkers are, your kill switch, your mirror, your horn. All of this was done in 90 seconds. Corso would feel confident after that, or at least I hope he did. He would give me the remaining $250 balance due on the moped. I would throw the title in his hand saying, forge my signature on this title and write up a bill of sale. That's all you're gonna need in an effort to be able to go register this yourself at DMV. Folks, as all of this was taking place, Vinny would hit me up. I've arrived. I got a notification on OfferUp saying just that. I know I'm 7 minutes away. I hit Vinny back saying, I am so sorry. I'm about 5 minutes away. I will be there as quick as I can. Vinny says okay. I hand the title and the keys over to Corso along with the helmet and a safety vest and plead with him to please be as absolutely careful as you possibly can be on this moped. With all of that, I jump back into my truck and haul ass back to my place, making sure that I get there in exactly 5 minutes. I arrive just as Vinny's getting back into his Honda CR-V, getting ready to leave. I block him in and say, wait, I'm here. I need these 5 stars. These 5 stars mean more to me than this $40 that I'm getting ready to make off of this table and chairs that's gonna be split 3 ways between Jellico, me, and the new guy, Mike. I greet Vinny telling him how sorry I am that I'm late. He's okay. He understands completely. He has not a care in the world. And folks, all of this is going to make more sense in just a little while. I show Vinny the table and chairs. He's looking at the material. He's kind of skittish about the material. There's some stains. Well, I posted that on the ad that I posted on OfferUp saying that they're war. But Vinny doesn't hesitate for long. He hands me the $40, and now it's time to figure out how to put this jigsaw puzzle together and get this 3.5-foot plate glass tabletop inside of his Honda CR-V along with the rest of the table and the chairs. And folks, there's no way to do this at all besides taking the table apart, which really isn't that big of a deal. But I do all of this myself for this OfferUp customer that I am hoping for 5 stars from. I grab our moving tool bag out of the back of the box truck. We've got all of our tools right there. We have just wrapped up a moving job. I am looking super with it as I'm dismantling this table for this guy, but I'm also sweating profusely, apologizing at the same time. I'm so sorry that I am drenched in sweat. I've been like this for the last 2 days. So this really isn't nothing new. We get the table dismantled. I repackage the glass inside of cardboard that we got the glass in. I put that inside of his vehicle. I put the table pieces inside of his vehicle. I put the chairs inside of his vehicle. I even give him 2 moving blankets, which losing those cost me $10. They were $5 a piece. And I bid farewell to Vinny. Good doing business with you, sir. Here's our business card. Get gone. Moving and hauling. Hit us up if you ever need us. I also tell Vinny that I will be sure to give him 5 stars and I will hope for the same in return. Vinny shakes my hand and agrees to give me those 5 stars. And then, folks, Vinny was gone. Transaction complete. I give Vinny the 5 stars. He does the same for me. But what I want to share with you right now is something that I just stumbled across this morning, and this might be kind of surprising to you. I know it was certainly surprising to me. Maybe sometimes you don't really realize what you got till it's gone. Because it was just this morning when I was on OfferUp and I was looking for chairs. I was looking for chairs because we got some chairs that we got as well. They're pretty much junk chairs. They probably wouldn't be good for anything besides scrap metaling them. And I thought Jellico had posted those on OfferUp yesterday, so I was on OfferUp looking for them when I ran across this listing right here that was posted just 13 hours ago. A mere 2 hours after I had met and dealt with Vinny. Wrought iron kitchen table with matching baker's rack. Now the baker's rack, I don't know nothing about that. But when I saw this table and chairs, folks, this was the same exact item that I had just sold. Not only sold, but dismantled. Taking the time with the extra moving blankets to help this man load in his Honda SUV, CR-V. Too small really for this item. The same damn item that I had just sold to Vinny 15 hours prior. Wrought iron. Kitchen table with matching baker's rack. $175. Damn. Now looking at the baker's rack right here, that's probably worth, I don't know, 75 bucks. He might have got that for free. Maybe 20 bucks. Maybe 30. But that table and chairs, there is no mistaking that from the item that I just busted my ass to help this man get loaded in the CR-V. For $10. My half of the sale. This man bought this item from me for $40. And he's got it relisted up here for at least $100 plus $75 for the baker's rack. Maybe he got the baker's rack for free and he's just trying to get $175 just for the table and chairs. Maybe he's telling whoever's messaging him, trying to lowball him, the same thing that I was telling him, that the glass top table by itself is worth at least $50. Folks, we've gone and picked up free couches and attempted to flip free couches. And, I always wonder what somebody would think if they saw an item that we got from them for free relisted for $100 or better. Well, folks, I now know exactly what that feels like as I'm looking at the table and chairs that we got for free. And I can't even really say we got them for free because we worked so hard during those 13 grueling hours doing the moving job just to be able to get them. Now, what's interesting about this post is Vinny ain't no dummy. Because you see, it's not Vinny who posted this. It is a brand new account, somebody by the name of Jordan, with no stars. They've literally joined OfferUp this month. It's the beginning of this month. And they probably created this account so that if I was to stumble across this, because who's to honestly say that I would or not, I did. I wouldn't know that it's Vinny who's reposted this. Dude, you could have gave me at least a tip, something, for all that work I put in to help you get that loaded up in your car. I had listed the table and chairs. I probably could have listed them for more. I'm not even bitter about it for real. I just think it's kind of ironic. I've been learning a lot of lessons. I'm not mad, I promise I'm not. I've been learning a lot of lessons with business. With the cleaning company, you got to have good workers. You got to have somebody who's watching those workers. With the mopeds, that was not a good business. With the moving and hauling, you got to have good workers. You got to do good work. You can't break things. You got to be kind and courteous. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You've got to bid your jobs correctly. And sometimes you might end up with some free things that you could sell to get additional tips and, additional income from those items. But not only have I been learning things about business, I've also been learning things about OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and the types of appropriate etiquette when using, those marketplaces, any marketplaces. One thing is make sure you've got an adequate enough vehicle to be able to pick up the items that you're trying to purchase. Another thing is if you're buying something and your vehicle probably isn't, up to spec for whatever it is that you're buying, don't expect the seller to have to help you. And if they do, give them 10 stars or give them a 10 spot. But you can't expect that type of stuff. You have to just anticipate and be ready for if and when it does happen. The moral of this story is I'm super proud of Jellico and Rabbit and the new guy Mike and also myself, and of Get Gone Moving and Hauling for being able to complete successfully and satisfactorily our first moving job. I learned a lot from that in terms of how to bid things. If you're gonna do moving and hauling work, you gotta bid jobs at $75 an hour. You better tack on some additional hours to that bid, to anticipate that that job could take you longer than you think that it will, because by the end of the day, your crew will be exhausted. Another moral to this is we were able to provide transportation just recently to Corso, another guy who's come home from prison and is trying to do what he needs to do and is doing what he needs to do. A guy who hasn't been nothing but solid to AfterPrisonShow, and who I pride myself on being solid to as well. Even though on the initial day when he was supposed to get the moped from us, it probably seemed like I was ducking him. I was not. I was just damn near about to have a heat stroke that day. That's all. And the final moral is pretty much everything that I've shared about OfferUp. Be wary, be mindful, be cautious. And if you do all of those things, whether it be OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or anywhere else, eBay, you could be able to utilize those social media or websites or apps in an effort to see a little bit, if not maybe even a hell of a lot more, of an additional income. So folks, I just wanted to share this little story with you guys. Shout out to Vinny. He's killing it out there. And I hope you enjoyed this. And if so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you think. And also, any suggestions, tips, or advice that you might have for AfterPrisonShow and our latest business efforts and ventures. As always, until next time, folks, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace! I'm about to hit this dude Vinny up right now. You gonna give me a cut of that?